all the original content intact. Rivals offer to Eli Katoa as coach refuses to return home in stunning move for NRL star. Can a single act of loyalty from the sidelines redefine the unbreakable thread between a coach and his warrior, echoing across oceans and rivalries? Eden Park, Auckland, November 2025. The air thick with the salt of the Hauraki Gulf and the thunder of Pacific pride. The Pacific Championships final. Tonga against New Zealand. A clash of brothers forged in fire and folklore. Under floodlights that pierced the night like ancestral spears, 25,000 voices rose in a bilingual hymn, red and white jerseys bleeding into one another, every cheer a bridge between islands. Eli Katoa, Melbourne Storm's Tongan powerhouse, 25 years young, stood as a colossus in crimson. Born in Tonga, schooled in the grit of Auckland's streets, he carried the weight of two nations on shoulders inked with family crests. His eyes, fierce yet tender, held the story of a boy who fled Tongan shores at 17, chasing NRL dreams through Warriors trials, only to thunder into Melbourne's Purple Heart 3 years prior. Please like, share, and subscribe for more sport talk content. The match was a tempest of brotherhood and brutality. Warm-ups crackled with intensity, bodies colliding in ritual preparation. Katoa, ever the enforcer, locked horns with teammate Liha Hapoe. A friendly skirmish turned fateful. His head snapped back on impact, the thud muffled by pre-game buzz, but the daze in his eyes lingered like a shadow. Cleared by medics who hadn't glimpsed the unseen footage, Katoa took the field. The crowd's roar swallowed him whole as Tonga kicked off, the turf vibrating under boots that knew no surrender. Minutes in, another head clash, helmet to jaw, sent him reeling to the bench, only to rise again, Warriors' will overriding warning. Then came the third. A Kiwi's defender's shoulder met Katoa's temple in a symphony of savagery, his body seized, limbs jerking in betrayal, a seizure that silenced the stadium like a prayer unanswered. The whistle pierced the hush. He crumpled, oxygen mask descending like a veil. Teammates formed a human shield, faces etched with the terror of kin lost mid-battle. The stretcher bearers moved with sacred urgency, the crowd rising not in ovation but in omen, a wave of held breaths, hands clasped across aisles. On the sideline, Tonga coach Kristian Woolf, a Queenslander by club but a Pacific son by soul, froze. His Dolphins preseason loomed across the Tasman, yet his feet rooted to New Zealand soil. Not yet, he murmured to an assistant, voice of vow etched in salt and sweat. Katoa was rushed to Auckland City Hospital, sirens wailing like island winds. Surgeons operated through the dawn, staunching a brain bleed that threatened to rewrite his legacy. The world waited, monitors beeping like distant conch shells calling the lost home. Words spread like wildfire across the Pacific. Katoa Strong ignited X, fans from Nuku'alofa to Naracoorte posting prayers in Tongan script, purple storm scarves draped over family altars. News bulletins looped the footage, but the humanity pierced deeper. A young father, his daughter's laughter echoing in hospital corridors via FaceTime. Rival voices joined the chorus. New Zealand Warriors halfback Te Maire Martin, scarred by his own 2019 brain bleed that sidelined him for years, reached out publicly. If he needs a yarn about the fog, the fear, the fight back, I'm here, Martin said, his offer a hand extended across club lines, from old warrior to storm stalwart. The NRL's investigation simmered, probing HIA protocols breached in the shadows of warm-up chaos. But beyond bureaucracy, cultural currents swirled. In Pacific rugby, family isn't blood alone. It's the coach who stays, the rival who mentors. The diaspora defines devotion over division. In Tongan villages and Melbourne suburbs, elders gathered under mango trees and in community halls, recounting Katoa's rise, from Tongan fields to NRL finals, his 2024 grand final grit a badge of unyielding spirit. This wasn't mere injury. It was a tapestry thread pulling at Heritage's hem. Social media wove the story wider. A video of Woolf at Katoa's bedside, hand on shoulder, went viral. Millions viewed, hearts heavy with recognition. Fans of the Broncos, Roosters, even Penrith shared Martin's message. Rugby's rivals in name, brothers in blood. A GoFundMe for Katoa's family surged past $150,000, tokens from strangers who saw their own sons in his struggle. The aftermath rippled into resolve. Woolf, foregoing Dolphins camp, visited daily, sharing stories of his own coaching odyssey from England to Queensland, reminding Katoa that true leadership lingers. Martin's gesture sparked a chain. retired players deeming advice, physios offering remote sessions. The Pacific Championships paused tributes, jerseys retired mid-game in silent solidarity. This moment laid bare the marrow of the NRL's Pacific soul. It's a league stitched from migrations, where coaches become uncles, rivals kin. Katoa's bleed wasn't just medical. It was a mirror to the cost of carrying cultures on cleated feet, the joy of representation shadowed by the jeopardy of the game. Yet in that vulnerability, virtue shone. Woolf's refusal to fly was no grandstand. It was quiet covenant, a coach choosing heart over hierarchy. It whispered of values etched in ocean voyages. Ofa, love that binds beyond borders, demanding presence in peril. Reflection deepened in the quiet hours. What does it say of a man who plants roots in another's recovery? Of a sport where a rival's outreach heals old divides? Katoa's ordeal illuminated sportsmanship's truest form. Not the tackle, but the tenderness that follows, the humility to seek wisdom from foes. It probed legacy's fragile forge, how one player's fragility fortifies a fraternity. In the Pacific's oral traditions, heroes aren't flawless. They're faithful. Woolf and Martin's moves echoed those tales, stunning not in spectacle, but in steadfastness, reminding us that true power lies in pausing the pursuit for a brother's peace. The injury forced a gaze inward. Players whispered in huddles about hidden hurts, the pressure to play through pain for pride's sake. Coaches like Woolf modeled mercy, prioritizing person over playbook. It challenged the NRL to weave safety into its warrior weave, ensuring the game's fire doesn't consume its flames. Amid beeps and bandages, Katoa's spirit stirred questions of character, the resilience to rebuild, the grace to accept aid. This wasn't downfall, it was dawn, a chance to redefine strength as shared, not solitary. In vulnerability, we find the valor that outlasts victories. From his hospital bed weeks into recovery, Katoa spoke softly to reporters, voice steady as a Tongan drum. That third hit, it felt like the world tilted. But waking up to Coach Woolf there every day and hearing Te Maire's words, it hit harder in a good way. Showed me families bigger than the jersey. He paused, eyes tracing the ceiling's cracks like maps home. I chased this game across oceans, left my mom's cooking for canteen slop. Now, I trade 1,000 tries for one more hug from my little one. Martin's offer, it's humbling. Reminds you, we're all just blokes trying not to break, on and off the field. His partner, cradling their toddler via video, chimed in, Eli's learning to say enough now. Not weakness, wisdom. Coach Woolf didn't just stay, he taught us all what staying means. Katoa's humility bloomed. If I lace up again, it'll be for them. But if not, this is my win. Woolf beside him added gravel-voiced, I couldn't leave till I saw that fire in his eyes again. Preseason? It'll wait. Some things don't. Martin's follow-up call, shared later, brother, the fog lifts if you let it. You've got an army now, rivals included. The legacy unfurls like a top-of-cloth, woven with Woolf's vigil and Martin's bridge building.